Hey all, this is Unfiltered Curiosity. This is Mark. I'm Jesse, and we mentioned last week we were gonna chit chat a little bit about interviews and just the job search in general, because it's hard to find a job, right? A job that you like. Leadership styles are in middle of changing, it seems. So I think just having that adaptability and trying to find that job search is pretty important. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm more along the lines of like, if I can't get into the job I want, I'm going to work a job that I don't want as a segue. And I think a lot of people are like, I'm too good for that. Well, at some point, you got to make bills, regardless if you live at home or you own your own home. You got to make bills. So you can't be too prideful to flip burgers when you're an office worker. If you can't get that job, what are you going to do in the meantime? I think it does help to be married, to have kids, and to own a house or a car or something. I think it does help because you're almost forced to work, and working sucks.
Right. It kind of provides that motivation for you.
Correct. Yeah.
No, working does suck. You're right. I don't know what causes the work ethic to decline. Being in leadership roles, that's the number one thing I hear from people is so and so doesn't like to work. So and so doesn't have a good work ethic. It's all these millennials, they don't have good work ethic, or Gen Zs don't have good work ethic. And it's a lot of just the generation above really kind of crapping on that lower generation. A lot of it, I think, has to do with the experiences as different generations that we've had. One,
Mm.
technology does a lot for us. So when you get into my generation, and then I'm kind of right on the cusp of Gen Z and millennial, but I think technically I'm a Gen Z. But I have older siblings that I feel with them being older, it kept the 90s flowing into the early 2000s
Mm.
in our household. So I relate more with those millennials, but I think a big thing of the work ethic that we have now, a big problem of it is there's this stigma of, well, I don't want to work, so I'm not gonna work.
Mm. Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do with, we have a lot more young adults that are living at home still because everything costs so much. So why wouldn't you stay at home? But there's a lot of reasons, and I think that these are some of them.
Yeah, I think it's kind of it's a pile of things, you know? It's not
Yeah.
just one thing that makes it. Because, like, does technology make it hard to have work ethic? I don't think so. But does your mind kind of get pulled more to, hey, I'm just going to scroll for a little bit? People, they just don't want to work. And now,
Yeah.
is that due to they're not forced to work because they don't have all the bills? I didn't get kicked out when I was 18. Or I think I stayed at my mom and dad's, I think, till I was 21. And I think at that point, I was like, I can't, like, I'm paying for all this stuff. I don't, like, I have these bills. I don't see how I can take on an apartment payment.
Yeah, right.
Logically, I couldn't see it. But then when we broke down everything that I was actually making, and I actually got forced out, then it was, oh, hey, like, you can afford an apartment. You know, does it make it much tighter? Yes. Do you not get to go do all the fun things and, you have less spending money? Absolutely. But
I think that you're onto something there. That the average price of a starter home is $500,000. Working at
up,
$25 an hour, you need three, maybe four roommates. Well, you can't get a four-bedroom house for under 750. I guess depends on where you're at. Maybe if you're closer to where you are, it's probably going to be cheaper. Up here in
I
Idaho,
mean, it's
it's
still
not.
spiking. So you also
Yeah.
have to think out there, where you guys are, you have Washington right next door, which their minimum hourly is much higher. And Idaho has kept increasing it, right? And then you have this retirement community where it's either A, celebrities or retirement people that are there, and
Hmm.
it's a big tourist town.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
have all these people that are coming and being in this area, but none of them are working it. And so with not having much labor force, they're having to raise those prices as far as the hourly pay. But I mean, it's barely catching up to, like you said, the housing market. Housing market up there, nobody up there that is growing up can afford to buy a house.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know somebody who I think is, I want to say in their 30s, just bought a house, ended up being over in Washington because it was cheaper.
Hmm.
But I mean, it's their first house on their own, and luckily they were able to buy it. But this person's very good with their money. They're very
Yeah.
good, but it's also a single person. That's unheard of in today's day and age
Yeah. And what type
of
of work is
somebody
he
being able to
into?
go out, you know?
Yeah.
And so, I think architecture, so like has a
Okay.
pretty
Yeah. Yeah.
good career,
So
you
he's got a
know,
six-figure job.
potentially. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
what they
Yeah.
get paid. When I was up there, I was making 26 an hour,
Mm.
which is pretty good, but I couldn't have bought a house. And the houses I was able to buy were fixer uppers for
Hmm.
350, I think was the lowest we could find.
Yeah.
And we are gonna have to dump another 100,000 into it.
Right.
No, thank you.
Yeah. You might as well just take the loan out for 500,000 and go buy a steady house or a
Right.
decent turnkey house rather than, and I'm all for buying a fixer upper and then putting money into it, but that is super stressful.
Well, it takes away all your fun time, right? You don't get to
Yeah.
go out and do things, you don't get to buy the things you want because the all the excess money is going into your house. Like you said, it's just more stressful. All right, now that we're back, I know for our listeners, or you're not going to realize that we even left, but Mark had to take a little break.
Just a little break.
Just a little break. So, which I think this shows Mark's work ethic coming into this podcast that he had to take a break, not even 10 minutes in.
I'm in the union, man.
In the
No, not really. I'm
union.
not in the union, so don't unionize me.
So, with work ethic, Mark, and trying to find a new job and having that motivation that we talked about, what do you think is the most important step for the interview process or job application process, trying to find a job?
Right. Yeah. And obviously, I'm not a professional on like career decisions or interviewing, but these are just my views and what's worked for me. When I would go turn in an application, I wouldn't just turn it into the front or the first person I see, the first employee I see. I would ask them to talk to the manager and then introduce myself to the manager and hand my application and tell her, hey, I really want to work here. Not because, oh, I want to work here because I need a job because I have bills. Because obviously that's why you're there. But you just introduce yourself in a very professional way. I mean, if you're gonna work construction, don't come in a three-piece suit. I'm not saying going in dirty, but just dress the part for what you're going in for. Uh, and every single time that I've turned in my application to a manager, I've always got the job. So, and I don't, but I mean, I haven't turned in an application in over 10 years, but I'm, currently in a career change where I'm starting my own business and it's scary. I'm 42 years old and I'm just starting my new business. And, I have a mortgage payment. I have kids. I have a wife. I have groceries, electricity, toilet paper, for fuck's sakes. All that stuff costs money. And I think that what's best for me is to start my own business.
No, I think that actually there's a couple points I want to kind of comment on. One, you said dress the part. One thing I've learned, and it really kind of depends on the industry, right?
Yeah.
Is you don't want, yes, you want to dress the part, but you also want to be dressed up a little bit for the part.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're walking in construction, at least make sure you're in nice construction clothes.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
Or if you show up in jeans and a polo, that shows that you care enough to put on a nicer shirt. You're not going in for a working interview or anything
Yeah.
along those lines, right? So
Yeah.
you do want to make sure you're dressed a little bit nicer, but like you said, you don't if you're going in for construction, maybe not a three-piece suit, maybe a polo and jeans.
Yeah.
If you're going in for maybe it's your first job at like McDonald's, I would wear a polo, maybe some nice pants with it. It shows them that you care. I at minimum would I've never once gone into an interview without a polo, at least a polo. So I've always made sure I've had like a collared shirt, and that's just my preference. And that was even for the trucking companies that I interviewed with. Do they wear that on the daily? No, they could care less, but it showed that I cared enough about my first appearance
Yeah.
and that I'm going to care about the job down the road.
This reminds me of that movie Step Brothers when they go in tuxedos and interview.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know if you've ever seen that. If you guys
I
haven't,
have.
it's I don't know, it's super hilarious. I love Will Ferrell and John C. Riley. They're just off the wall crazy. But yeah, you're not gonna wear a shirt that says "I'm was stupid" when you go into an interview.
Believe it or not, in the last year, I have people that have shown up in shirts that have sexual innuendos on them. I'm not gonna say what kind, but
Let's not do that.
they're showing up not for the job interview. What was it for? When you come in and bring in your I-9s and stuff, they were showing up for with those shirts on. The job market has changed to where people are more
Hmm.
lax. However, you still have to give a good first impression.
Right, right. First impression
Like,
is
if
always
you don't
everything.
give a good first impression, and if you're not a super personable person, if you can at least make your dress appearance look better,
Hmm.
you're going to be up a little bit
Yeah.
versus having a poor dress appearance and you're maybe not a super talkative person. Know where your strengths and weaknesses are within that.
Yeah. There's a term, fake it till you make it. Don't lie, but if you're not an extrovert, act extrovert for the hour that you're in that. If you're not an extrovert, you're not going to want to go into sales because then, I mean, you're not going to sell much, right? But if you're
Absolutely.
going in and they're like, "Oh, are you a bubbly person?" Just be like, "Yeah," like get into it and, fake it till you make it works a lot.
The more personable you are for any job, the more likely you're going to get the job. And a
Yeah.
big part of that is because people feel they, at minimum, they can build a rapport with you. If you can click with that manager or you can click with the people at the front desk or whatever, 9 times out of 10, especially now, where leadership is changing, people are coming in and they're looking for a culture fit. They don't care if you can type 1,000 words per minute to make sure you are a good culture fit. It takes one bad seed to ruin a culture.
Yeah.
So if you come in and you're not the right culture fit, that's going to tank that entire team. And that's the
Yeah.
last thing that people want right now.
Right. Yeah. Don't go in with political shit on your shirt or don't go in with an attitude like, fuck this place. I don't care. I'm just doing it because I got bills. Go in there with a little respect, regardless of what it is. Go in there with some gumption. It's just a segue. That's what I don't understand is people are like, oh, I'm not. No, that's beneath me. Well, paying your bills is beneath you. If for whatever reason I was let go from a job, construction, let's say, because I know that field and I couldn't get a job anywhere else. Within the next week, I'm going to get a job at KFC. I've worked at Kentucky Fried Chicken. It was my first and only fast food gig. But I've used KFC. I've worked at KFC on and off probably 4 or 5 times because it's just a segue and I played the part.
Yeah, it's just temporary. So there's such a pressure on, hey, you got to go to college, or hey, you have to at
Yeah.
least have a trade.
Yeah.
You have to have a path, I think is what people are pushing for. So that way you have a pathway in your future when it doesn't go as planned because it's life and life never goes as planned. I feel like people they almost feel like they've taken steps backwards, but I don't think it's bad to take steps backwards. You said, "Oh, I'm 42 and I'm starting a business." It's okay to reset. It's okay to restart, you know? I don't know how many times I've debated going back to school just so I have either another degree or maybe just a certificate, whatever it comes out as. All of it is experience, whether you are going from a corporate job down to McDonald's, or maybe you're going from a road construction job into housing construction.
Yeah.
There are ways to integrate all of those jobs on a resume and make you look like you are meant to be for the job you're going to apply for. And I
Right.
think a
Right.
big misconception with people and resumes is they think they can make one resume, this is all my work experience, and then just hand it in to everybody. When you are job hunting, you should be tailoring every resume to every application.
Right. Right. So carry a few different resumes with you.
If I was going to go for just communications, is kind of what I was looking for. I would tailor a resume to communications.
Hmm.
You can make McDonald's look far better than McDonald's. I mean, at McDonald's, say you're a cashier, you have cash handling, you could go into finance. You also had communication. You got to take orders at the front. You got to take orders over the phone, over radio. There's different aspects to just the front basic lines of McDonald's that people don't realize they're building while they're at those jobs.
Yeah. You can get on the board at McDonald's. You would have to work your way up.
Hey, a McDonald's GM that they have at every single McDonald's, 6 figures a year. I would take 6 figures a year.
Yeah. 100%.
Everything is just a stair step. It's temporary. It's an opportunity to move. What are you doing? Well, for everybody that's listening, Mark was sliding from side to side, I think trying to see if the screen was following
Yeah,
him.
it is now. It is now. I'm just trying
Okay.
stuff out, you know?
We're set up now. Now that we're back
Yeah.
on track.
We got to start doing videos at some point. I'm sure people want to see my mug and see your
We
lovely
can start it
face.
next week.
Yeah.
I think, well, for this, Mark, say this business thing doesn't work out for you and you're like, hey, I need to go get another job, or maybe you do this and another job on the side. It would be totally fine for you to be able to say, hey, I have a podcast, and be able to put that on your resume. You know,
Yeah.
I've learned to, I mean, maybe you don't do the full editing on the backside, but being able to talk on a screen in front of people, you know,
Yeah.
that's a big skill that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah, I'll tell you, when we first did this, even our first, second, and third, it was like, oh, I don't speak in front of crowds. And it's like, it's not a crowd. I'm here, my cats are here, my wife's over there, you're there. But it's the thought that people are going to see me. But now I'm a lot more comfortable today than I was, and all it takes is practice. You know what I mean? Like, just practice.
Yeah. I'm not a very techie person. So when you said, let's start a podcast, my first thought was like, yeah, I know somebody that could run it for us.
Hmm.
And, we do it. And then I was like, nah, like I feel bad asking somebody to do that for us. And so good old technology and Google, I just Googled it and said, how do you start a podcast? And started doing some research on it. And honestly, it didn't come off like it was that intimidating for me. But
Yeah.
I'm really not a big techie person. So for the fact that I can figure out how to edit all of this stuff now too, there's so many apps out there nowadays too for, I mean, vlogging, blogging, podcasting, all of the new things that we have these days. I think the apps that are out there are self-explanatory that make it so easy to be able to create new things.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So they're making it easier. I think that that's cool. And you do all the work as far as like editing and stuff. I can say that I don't have the time, but I mean, if it takes like an hour to edit, maybe 2 or 3 hours to edit, like I have that time. I just don't have the patience for it. But that's something that I
Yeah.
can learn too. That's something that I can learn. I'm old school. Like,
It's okay. We got Mark on TikTok, and that was our first step. So
yeah,
now that he's
right? I'm on
familiar with
TikTok.
TikTok, we're gonna make Mark start editing TikToks and posting TikToks for us. So if you see a little fluctuation in some of the editing for our TikToks, you know what happened.
Yeah, yeah. I guess if you're going to take anything away from this episode,
That it takes work to get into anything, truthfully.
right?
I
Yeah, yeah,
mean,
yeah,
looking not only having the work ethic to have a job, but having the work ethic to search for a job, or having the work ethic to build a resume,
yeah,
or having the work ethic to learn how to do a podcast. Well, I think a lot of it goes into like, if you have confidence, making sure you have confidence in yourself, that makes it 1,000 times easier to do any of those things that I just stated.
yeah,
The more confidence you have in yourself as a person, I mean, if you walk into an interview and you say, hey, I'm Jesse, the blah, 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 or you're like, hey, I'm Jesse, how's your day? You start asking them questions. And if you can get a human to talk about themselves, they won't stop. That is just
hmm,
natural. Most humans, 90% of humans on the planet, if you can get them to talk about themselves, they will just keep the conversation going for you.
yeah,
And then you just have to keep asking questions, keep prompting, whatever it comes out to be. But other people will carry that conversation for you.
yeah, Yeah, but don't overly talk. Like there has to be silence, awkward silence, and you have to be able to let them process what you're talking about, and then you have to give them the opportunity to ask questions. Because you can't just be talking, 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 talking for an hour straight and not give them the chance because that's why you're there. They need to ask you the questions that they have to ask you that pertains to the job.
And this is Mark telling you all that I have issues interrupting him all the time.
Well, it's subtle. But that's okay. That's okay because
Yeah, no, it's
sometimes I need
definitely
to be
something I have
interrupted.
to work on for sure.
Yeah.
I interrupt people all the time. It's not my best quality for sure.
Yeah. Another thing I just thought of is I think that government assistance is so easy to make a career out of. Not a career, I don't want to say that, but it's so easy to live off of government assistance, food stamps and cash assistance and Section 8. And people are going that route because they don't have to pay anything and it goes off of your income. So if if you don't work, they'll pay 100% of it. If you do work, you only have to pay 30% of it. So they're paying the 70.
Yes, I still don't I've never been able to understand how people live on just government assistance. Like I know there's, low income housing. I mean, I still don't understand how they live. I've tried to wrap my head around it so many times, but it to me it doesn't make sense. You don't have a job, or say you have a job that say you're working at for 16 bucks an hour at McDonald's. That's fine. And say you have 2 or 3 kids, you're in low income housing in an apartment complex. 90% of your stuff is going there. You're probably not paying car insurance. You probably have just whatever car you're able to find on Marketplace. I'm not talking about anybody specifically. I'm talking about like if I were to be in this situation, I wouldn't be paying for car insurance probably.
Yeah.
But there's so many things that I pay for that I think the low income people don't pay for because
Hmm.
they can't afford it.
Hmm.
I just guess I don't see how somebody can live on the low income and actively try to live on just the government and do that bare minimum. Because to me, there's like, that's not a way of living. You're not living, you're just surviving.
Right, right. But it's very comfortable. The more kids you have, the more in Section 8 funding that you do get for housing. You get bigger houses with more kids. You get more food stamps. It's not they're not making it a hand up, right? They're making it a handout. And so when people take handouts, they can stay on Section 8 for the rest of their lives. The more kids they have, the more money they get. And, they do cash assistance. So you're working a job at KFC for 18 bucks an hour, whatever it is now. You're making that. And yeah, that can pay for your car insurance. And you're only having to pay 30 of your rent. And then you get assistance for water, sewer, garbage. You're not paying what we're paying in cash money for food. Food's very expensive. Toilet paper, all that stuff is subsidized. So you're getting, the more kids that you have, the more government assistance that you get. So it's lucrative. And people are professionals at, going for the easy way out, which is totally understandable. In a world that's super hard to live in, people are going to take the easy way out because that option is there. If that option was less and less, I think that there's, I know for a fact that there's people on Section 8 that absolutely need it, 100% need it. And then there are people that are using that and they don't need it, but they're on it because it's an option. And I'm not saying take that option away. I'm saying
I don't
make it a
I don't
hand
know how
up.
easy it is to get on that government assistance though either,
It's
because
probably just like a 6 year wait.
I don't know though, because I mean I like there's been times that I was living in my trailer that I couldn't afford to get on that. Like, because I was making too much, but I was
Hmm.
making just enough to not be able to get on it, but I had to pay for all these other things too.
Yeah.
So I don't know how easy it is to get on it. I mean, obviously, if you don't have a job and you're okay with having that like struggleness for a bit, you might be able to get on it, but I don't think people go into getting government assistance. I mean, once they're on it, I think they get on it because they need it. And maybe do they try to, milk it before getting out of it? Maybe. I could see that where now that you're already on it, hey, if I'm already getting this little bit of help, maybe we can go on this vacation or something because we do have that help. I could see
Hmm.
that. But I don't think people go into needing government assistance with the mindset of, I'm going to live on this forever.
Well, Section 8 that I know of is transferable. So let's say your mom has it and your mom, I don't want to say that. Let's say someone's mom has it and their mom passes away. They can transfer that to you. And then you, in turn, can transfer that to someone else. Like it's transferable. So you can transfer that. So, with that being said, there are people that stay at home with their mom and dad, and then they start the Section 8 or government assistance housing situation or whatever that plan, and then they stay at their mom and dad's house until they get that, and their mom and dad says right that they're paying rent and they're paying X amount of dollars, and then from there they can go get into their own house, so they don't need to struggle, so to speak, in order to get on it. There are some people, like some, homeless people that are in shelters all the time and they need that. They need that. But then there are some people that, and I don't want to call it laziness. I just they just don't want to work, which is understandable. I don't want to get up and work every day. I do a job that I love to do, but waking up and dealing with all the thises and the that's, and I mean it's tough. So like I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone else because I'm a nobody. I'm just Joe Schmo. But
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's hard for me to speak on it because I don't know anybody who. I mean, I know some people who have been on, government assistant or in low income, but to my knowledge, the ones I know have no longer been. They're no longer on that,
hmm
and so I've never been in that situation, so I can't speak specifically because I mean, I'm no expert on it.
hmm
So, I mean, I don't know all the specifics on all of that, but do I think there's always gonna be people that use the system? Absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, systems get put in place to help people, and
hmm
there's always gonna be people that take advantage of help.
Oh,
I
100%,
mean,
100%. Yeah.
but I like to try to give people the benefit of the doubt of, maybe they probably do need it or they did need it at one point. And can you get, like you said, comfortable in a situation with, hey, we're getting this or that. Oh, hey, I have this assistance. Absolutely. I mean, when I was in school and I was getting grants and scholarships, did all of that money for my grants and scholarships go into my schooling?
Probably
No, a
not.
lot of it went towards groceries. A lot of it
hmm
went towards my car payments. Like,
Yeah.
which for a lot of the grants and assistance that I got for school, a lot of that was for to be for living expenses as well. So it's
hmm
not like I was cheating the system, but were there some things that I was like, do I need a laptop? Didn't need it. Could I go somewhere to go do my schoolwork that had a computer? Yes. But it was nice for me to be able to get a computer to do it from my house versus having to
And get
go somewhere and
internet.
do it.
Yeah.
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 So,
And
they're like, I think there's definitely people that stretch it,
yeah.
but I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, and I feel like I do that a little too much in some ways,
Yeah.
and, sometimes it bites me in the ass, but it's fine.
Yeah, I think that if they make Section 8 a hand up rather than a handout, if you make the term you get on Section 8 and you're on it, let's say the term is 6 years. I think in 6 years someone can really turn their life around. If you make it 6 years and then you're not cut off completely, but they start going down, like they make sure that you're getting a job, starting a career, doing it, and it starts tapering off. And then once you're completely off of it, let's say you have 5 years before you can get back on it again. I think that more people would be more apt to turn their life around and it would be a better thing rather than staying. I know that there are certain people that they absolutely need that for the rest of their lives, and that's fine. That's completely fine. But there are some people that they need that term to be, tapered off, and then you can't get on it for 5 years. And then in 5 years, if your life's in shambles, whatever happens, then you have the option to get back on it. But it's not like that. It's like you're on it, you can keep it forever. And that's just what I know from it.
I mean, there's a chunk of time that I've I lost my train of thought. This is why I interrupt, because if I don't,
Yeah, I'm the same
then I
way.
lose my train of thought.
I'm the same way. Yeah, I know it helps to have a notepad down.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
kidding. I wish I could remember it.
yeah, because it was
It's gonna drive
super
me nuts.
important. You were going to make a very important point.
I was.
I could tell in your face.
Well, I guess that's the episode.
I love it, dude. I loved how that ended.
Um, all right. Well, with that being the end of the episode, go ahead and follow us on TikTok, Instagram. TikTok is Unfiltered Curiosity, Instagram unfiltered_curiosity. We also have our email. You can also listen on YouTube as well. I'll post all of the socials in the description, so feel free to look at the description there. Please just, spread the word. We're kind of just here to one, shoot the shit, and also, just try to open people's minds to different thoughts as well. We're not here to say your way of living is horrible, or
Mm,
hey, that opinion is horrible. We could care less what your opinions are, or I hope you care less about what our opinions are.
thank
We
you.
just kind of want to, open everybody's minds to different perspectives, and hopefully it helps in the future for other people.
Yeah, and for fuck's sakes, you listeners, give us some topics.
Mark's struggling with his side of the podcast. All
Yeah,
he's got to do is come up with topics.
that's all I have to do, and it's the toughest thing in the world to bring topics that are for you guys to listen to. So, I mean, hit us with something that you think that we wouldn't talk about, and maybe we won't, maybe we will. But I think that if you bring us with a topic of your choice, I think that we would definitely try to hit that mark for you guys. So we'll try. We're gonna try.
Oh
We'll
yeah,
try.
I mean, if we get suggestions from people, I think it's gonna have to be, unless you're gonna try to get us canceled, I think we will definitely do our best to have that topic on guest at some point.
Yeah, and I mean, if you try to get us canceled, that's fine. We'll work around that. I mean, everyone's trying to get someone canceled. That's fine. We don't mind that.
That's fine. Hey, maybe it'll make us blow up if we get canceled.
I'd rather not get canceled. I really don't think that we talk about stuff that would get us canceled.
No, and I mean, we've never. I don't think our purpose ever is to make somebody feel bad about
No.
themselves or make them. It's just our opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't agree with our opinion, I hope you say, "Well, fuck you. I don't like that opinion," and that's okay. I know there's lots of podcasts I've listened to, and it's like, if you don't like our opinion, that's fine, and that's great, because I think it's good to hear others' opinions that you don't agree with,
Yeah.
and that is okay. And I think that is a portion that we are missing from our society.
Yeah, 100%. I like comedians. I love comedians, and some stuff that they talk about, I'm not about it. I'm not even a little bit about it, but I still watch them, and I will still listen to what they have to say because it's funny, and I can differentiate the funny from you know, from the not. So,
Absolutely. All right, buddy. I will see you next week, listeners. We'll see how much of this I put in here. Probably a lot of it, but like I said, all of our stuff will be in the descriptions. So please go follow us on the socials, give us your topics, and we'll see you next week.
yep, love you guys. Bye.
Bye.